Hello, citizens of YouTube. This is the Geeky Nerd here. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit differently, but I think we'll all enjoy it here. And that is, of course, discussing gun manufacturers and where they kind of stack up against one another, in my humble opinion. So before we get too deep into it, I'd like to send a big thank you out to everyone who has liked, commented, and subscribed on the previous videos. I always enjoyed talking to you guys and greatly appreciate your subscription. And if you're new here to the channel, welcome. If you enjoy this video, enjoy this type of content, please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. So with the PR out of the way, let's dive into the deep end here, but make sure we don't hit our head. So every single manufacturer I've placed on this list here is going to be guns that I own, used to own, or have shot. So that's kind of where I picked from. Fortunately, every single one of these manufacturers is in some way or another a major player in the gun industry. So there's, of course, many more than this, but there's like the one-off custom-build boutiques, at the guy in his CNC shop in Utah. I don't know about that guy, so I can't really speak about it. Also, I've never used it or owned it, so I'm not going to speak on anything that I haven't personally, used. So I think that was a fair assumption. Also, every single individual company on this list, they may produce one thing really well and another thing and everything else in their line terrible. I'll take that into consideration as well when I'm kind of just marking these out here. So for something to essentially fit into the unobtainium Gucci operator build, that's the top end. That is firearms that are the best of the best of the best, reserved for only people who are the most demanding, and or gun manufacturers that do limited runs or do very selective runs, so it's very hard to get. And when they come out, they're 5, but they're major, but they're just hard to get. And so unobtainium there. Top tier is anything that is essentially the highest end that you can readily get, I guess you would say. So this is going to be like your LWRCs, and here I'm not going to go too deep into it yet. Upgraded basic is just that. It is above the basic builds, the like Ruger AR-556s, and just little bit nicer things that go into it. Basic is just the basic every man's gun, one gun to rule them all. If it's the main thing that you can get for anyone at any price point, and it's always readily available. And then, of course, better than a rock is, just like I said, it's better than a rock. Better have something some of the time than nothing on the time, and that's pretty much where this goes. So anything that falls in this category is going to be, if you can only get a gun, then this is where you're going to get it pretty much. If you can obviously not go into this category, you can move your way up, but that's your own particular thing. Also, everything in this video is just my opinion. Feel free to let me know what you guys rank it, or if you say I'm wrong or you say I'm right here, put that down in the comments, and we can have a talk about it. Also, again, just reiterating, everything that we're putting into this list is, we're not just focusing on very specific guns, we're focusing on the companies as a whole, everything they've kind of done, their entire product lineup, and the items that they have in their lineup. So if they do a bunch of things really well, then they're going to make it higher on the list than if they do just one thing really well and the other 26 handguns are shite. So let's start off here. Stoeger. So I use the Stoeger Koch gun. It's a fairly nice gun. It is imported. Definitely had a few different ridges on the Koch gun that I shot, and looking at the rest of their lineup, it seems like they do everything pretty okay. Definitely nice woodwork on some things, but there are like gaps between like the stock or the stock and the receiver of the shotgun to where you can actually feel it. So definitely good to be usable. So I would place them in basic. They're a solid basic. Now, on these lists as well, you can, we're going to say like bottom of basic and top end of basic. That's almost an upgraded basic. So we'll work that out as we start finishing here. But that's where I would say Stoeger should be solid, is just a basic. Savage. Savages as of old, which I've used, like the bolt actions, are fantastic. As of late, though, they have definitely gone into more of the budget-ended spectrum, in my opinion. Now, they do have some very nice higher-end rifles, but they're definitely not up there for a vast majority of their product lineup, at least what I've used. So very happy with them. Not an issue, not a concern. So I'd say they're in the basic tier. Let's actually put them above Stoeger because the fit and finish on everything I've seen of them is a bit better than Stoeger. Black Grain Ordnance, the semi-Gucci'd out ARs that have a premium price tag attached to them. So that's pretty much where I'm going to put Black Grain. I had one of their gray Cerakoted rifles. Very nice rifle. Definitely had like a few little tweaks, like a custom laser etched dust cover, which is just like a little minor touch. It had like B5 furniture, so it didn't have the upgraded, or it didn't have like the basic Magpul stuff. With that little custom Cerakote was nice, and the receiver was very nice as well. And that's where I would say that they're at. They're upgraded basic. Are the things better than it? Yes, but they're just that upgraded basic. Springfield Armory. So I have a terrible affliction with Springfield Armory personally, just given some of their previous business practices. Also, I don't like any of their handguns. Again, this is just my opinion. Don't own them. Won't ever own them. Again, one, for their business practices, and two, for just their lineup. I don't really see that there's really nothing in their line that attracts me. The Hellcat was kind of tempting, but nothing that I liked. I've shot the Hellcat, which is why I said it, which is why it's on this list, because I have used it. But for that, I'm gonna get some heat for this one. I know it, but this is just me personally. Better than a rock. Is it better than other things? Oh yeah, sure, objectively. But for me personally, again, it's that business practice thing and just their entire lineup. Yeah, I'm giving them better than a rock. So fight that with what you will. Kimber. So Kimber, I'm going to catch some flack for this one as well, probably. So Kimber, I'm going to say is a basic. I'm going to say it's a higher end basic, definitely close to the upgraded basic. I'm saying that because out of their lineup, their 1911s, I have seen quite a few of their 1911s fail, but I've seen a lot of them run flawlessly. The fit and finish on them is pretty standard for most 1911s. They're definitely like a reputable 1911 manufacturer. Again, I'm picking on their 1911s here because that's pretty much a majority of their catalog. Is there a bit of a premium attached to their price tag? Yes. Is it warranted? Kind of. So that's where I'm going to put them as just a good solid basic. Arsenal, unobtainium, right to the top. No, I'm just joking. If you guys know, I love my SLR 106 FR or F, which is 5.56 AK. Fantastic fit and finish. If you're looking for an AK that is going to work reliably, going to fit, finish, function fantastically, there is very little that can compare. So for that, I'm going to give Arsenal top tier. Now, they are frequently in stock. They are manufacturing them on a good regular basis, and they're definitely out there. Now, some of their older models, some of their very particular high demand items definitely do go out of stock rather quickly, but they also come back in stock rather quickly. Arsenal does have the bad reputation, at least in my opinion, of discontinuing popular lines. The SLR 106, god dang it, they can't bring it back, a 5.56 AK. But that's kind of where I would say that they stand with it. Century Arms. Now, Century Arms, for I'm sure most of you guys know, they're pretty much a major importer. Their firearms, they actually don't make them. They just import them, and then they kind of either butcher them or they, just modify them to fit 922R compliance with, like AKs, things like that. They have had a bad reputation in the past, although for me personally, as of recent, they seem to have gotten their act together. But I'm going to give them, I'll put them above Stoeger, and I feel like I'm butchering on Stoeger here, but again, it was just that finish from the stock to the receiver that kind of got me. Vast majority of their product line, they're pretty nice AKs, like their Wassers and like the Wasser 10s and some of their like their Pioneer Arms and their Hell Pups. They're not bad. They're definitely not the best in certain areas. And for their previous history with everything, I'm going to kind of just knock them down a notch. So Savage still holding up there, but I'd say they're solid basics for vast majority. SIG. So SIGs pretty much have a P226, P229, enjoyed them all. I shot a Mark 23 or whatever, Mark 24, the one with the little anchor on them. And they were all very nice. They're very nicely machined. There's no machining marks in them or on them at all, which is nice to see. But you're paying a bit more for that SIG brand name. Now, in the past, I would have taken an older SIG versus a newer SIG, although I know there's the great debate of people say, oh, a German SIG is better than an American one, and American one's exactly the same. I still, based on my current collection, I prefer foreign-made firearms for the most part. Don't know why it is. I just like different things, and that's just kind of what I like to see. Also, it's always hard to get stuff that's outside the country, inside the country. So when you can get some of those unobtainiums, it's nice to have. But SIG, I'm going to say is upgraded basic above Black Rain. I'm saying that for like their MCX Rattler, which I've used, good gun. Heck of a price. Dear God, I don't think I'd spend ever $3,000 for that. But regardless, some people will. Upgraded basic. They're not top tier. They're not unobtainium, that's for sure. You can't find them out there, but they do have little niceties attached to them. Walther. I have a special place in my heart for Walther. I love my P99s to death. Love my PPQ, P22, P38. Love Walther. But when you look at their line, they definitely have a lot going for them, and they have like their Q5 matches and like their black tie line, and they've kind of got into like their new pistols with their PDPs, which I haven't used. Hopefully I can use someday. But P99 is well, not P99, just Walther in general. I'm gonna say they're at the bottom of upgraded basic. They're German made. They definitely have a low machining marks. And they definitely have some innovative products and some good things going for them. And generally, as a company, they really never have done too much wrong. They've had bad runs with a few importers, and they're kind of hard to get. So, with all that said, I'm going to give them bottom of upgraded basic. Palmetto State Armory, solid basic. So, Palmetto State, they do pretty much everything right in my book, personally. They really care about their customers, and they generally put the customer first as opposed to a profit, from what I've seen, in kind of their company overview and their philosophy of use. And I'm going to give them a upper tier basic just for that. They have a very extensive line. They have had a few different teething issues, but like for some of their AKs, I get it. You're new to making AKs. You're going to have some issues. You should expect that. But now their later generations that they've iterated on have definitely come a long way. And again, their product line is pretty expansive. Anything and everything you want. If you could get nothing else but Palmetto States, you could fill up every single role that you need. Knights Armament, unobtainium. You knew it was going to go there. You rarely ever see a Knights Armament rifle, 5.56, or even rarer, a 7.62. They're definitely the highest end. They are battle proven. That's why they get the operator spec. You can, Gucci them out if you want, although most people don't. But when you do find them, they're super expensive, and that's if you can even find them. So that's why, unequivocally, they're going in the unobtainium Gucci operator spot. Can't see it here, but this is actually Barrett. Barrett, I'm going to say, so we all know the Barrett sniper rifle. Use that. Fantastic rifle. I've also shot their 308 rifle, which is fairly nice. They are hard to get, but they are definitely around. Their ARs are, very hard to get. And with that, I'm going to give them in the same vein of Arsenal. So, again, guys, I know I'm kind of going all across the board as far as I'm comparing an AK manufacturer, Arsenal, to Barrett, an AR, and long range rifle manufacturer, but it's the quality of the products they produce, as well as the their general lineup and how they do what they do. So that's kind of how I'm giving it, and also their kind of company history. So Barrett, I'm gonna give them top tier because you can find them. They're very nice, but I'm gonna give them just a little bit below Arsenal for the fact that I prefer AKs better. Sue me. Next one, we're gonna say Kel-Tec. So Kel-Tec, their motto should be at least nothing's boring. I have my Kel-Tec Sub 2000. Great little gun. I've been looking for the KSG ever since I got rid of mine. I didn't like it at first. I still kind of don't like it, but it's still kind of a cool gun, and I generally like collecting cool guns. So Kel-Tec, I'm gonna say, is a solid basic as well. They're I'm still gonna bump Kimber down. Sue me. I'm gonna say that they are, definitely a bit of an upper end on the basic scale. They definitely don't have as much of a product lineup as Palmetto State, but their products are fairly nice for the most part, being plastic or Zytel, whatever they're using. But you definitely have a wide variety, and their RGB or RDB rifle, whatever that is, that bullpup AR, definitely has some merit. So I'm gonna give them solid basic. HK. So depending on what you're looking, here I'm giving this upper top tier above Arsenal. Love HKs. Depending on what you're looking at, their pistols, you can get them pretty regularly. So good top tier. They're definitely an unobtainium, but the rifles are definitely an unobtainium. They are super hard to get, and if you're looking at a vast majority of the product lineup, they have more pistols than rifles. So I'm gonna leverage that at top tier, because even if you want a rifle, you might have to wait a bit, but if you want a pistol, you can get it. Machining marks, I have my HK P30L. Crap, I have 3 HK P30Ls, all different variations. I have an HK USP9. I have an HK Mark 23. I have an HK P7. So love HKs. Not a single machining mark in them. They are fantastic guns. They are battle proven to hell and back in half of Georgia, and just all around fantastic builds. So give HK solid top tier. This is Chiappa. So you guys, back in the old geeky nerd Call of Duty days, Chiappa Intervention, Chiappa 2000, quick scope 360. Definitely a reputable manufacturer. Definitely the highest of high quality. They have came out with their cash grab AR that they have, which is basically just an AR-15 made by Chiappa with a Chiappa stamp with a weird stock that can't be adjusted, but I won't get too deep into it. I do still want one. But I'm going to give them a unobtainium. They're 2000. I mean, you're looking at 10, 15 grand for a rifle, sometimes even more depending on what your configuration and specs is. So they're definitely an unobtainium from sheer cost. You can get them because they are essentially a made-to-order item, but given the cost, I'm going to give them an unobtainium. And also given them the cost, I'm probably going to bump them up above Knights, because Knights, at least you can find, at least you can afford a Knights. I mean, $3,000 versus 15 grand. So I'm going to give them definitely a topper, higher unobtainium score. BCM, upgraded basic, definitely. Now, are they better than Black Rain? I'd say overall, yes. I'm only saying that so, BCM Gunfighter, just their different accessories and just their overview of everything, how they put together a rifle, they definitely have a lot more going for them, in my opinion, than Black Rain. Black Rain is more of a stylish build, I guess you would say, to where Bravo Company is more of like a duty build, but with that comes a bit more reliability. In my personal opinion, Black Rains are obviously plenty reliable, but I'm going to give them solid, just above Black Rain. Aero Precision, I'm going to say upgraded basic on that, because you can get a Palmetto State, PS15, and if you want the upgraded version of that, you're going to go to an Aero. Their forgings are fantastic on their lowers. They have a vast product lineup as far as, with ARs or AR-15s and AR-10s. And they're all around good solid build. You really can't go wrong with anything Aero Precision. So going to give them an upgraded basic. You know what? I'll probably give them... Actually, if they're getting upgraded basic, you know, I'm going to give them right below Black Rain. Aero Precision, again, pretty much like a working man's upgraded rifle when he can, you know, afford to take 2 paychecks as opposed to 1. But definitely not as stylish as a Black Rain, so I'm going to... Yeah, that's where I'm going to put that. B&T. So B&T, I'm going to definitely... It's going to be a top tier. It's a Swiss-made gun manufacturer. I mean, gosh, how much more fancy can you get? They have their AC9, which good rifle, or good PCC, I should say. Doesn't hold a candle to my Strybog, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. But B&T, I would say, is definitely a top tier. They are kind of hard to get, and they do kind of bring in limited runs, so definitely harder than HK, and but definitely not unobtainium. Like, you can find them around here and there. Actually, you know what? Saying that, kind of thinking of their availability in the past, they're available right now, but I'm going to give them a low-end unobtainium. Gucci and Operator, just because $2,000 for a PCC, kind of thinking in hindsight, or $3,000 for a PCC, it's a little much. And look who came up next, the Grand Power. Grand Power Strybog, fantastic gun. My K100, fantastic gun. My Excalibur, which I'm trying to get. It hasn't been mine yet, but I'm going to find one. If any guys know of any place that has a Grand Power Excalibur, please put it in the comments, let me know. Grand Power, they're definitely not as prevalent in the United States, but looking at their entire lineup, so again, talking about the pistols, they definitely have some innovation with the rotating barrels, and then with the Strybog, it's really hit the market with kind of a thunderclap and brought the PCC into the forefront. Now, I know CZ Scorpion had, you know, kind of did that before, but the Strybog definitely brings more to the table, in my opinion, with a bit more metal. It isn't as battle-proven as the CZ, because CZ is obviously adopted by the Czechoslovakian military, police forces, so got to give it there. But Grand Power, I'm going to say, is, given their entire lineup and pricing and everything like that, I'm going to give them a upgraded basic. Walther definitely has some nicer machining, in my opinion, overall. Definitely has some kind of rougher edges around it, but with their barrels and with their competition with the Strybog and their general offerings, I'm going to say upgraded basic. This one right here is kind of got cut out, a little bit weird. It's Benelli. And their logo, as you can see there, is performance worth the price. So for that, I'm going to give them a solid top tier. Barrett is definitely more of a rarity compared to a Benelli, but, you know, $2,000 for a shotgun is a heck of a lot of money. It's a good shotgun. It's the best shotgun out there, but you know, you're paying for it. So if you can afford it, great. But Benelli, yeah, definitely a solid top tier. Have an M4, good shotgun. Although I picked it up at a pawn shop years ago from a less than knowledgeable sales representative for about $800. So keep that between me and you. Bushmaster, I know they have Bushmaster and Wind and Weaponry. I just kind of lumped this into an all-in-one. Bushmaster, I'm going to say, is solid basic. Now where in solid basic? I know they've kind of had little discrepancies here. You know, I'm going to give them right above Century and right below Savage. I'm saying that because their general fit and finish, they sometimes have a little bit of wobble, a little bit loose. It's a very good rifle, you know, for the money, but definitely isn't winning any kind of beauty contests. Savage definitely has better fit and finish, and same thing, Kimber. Century has the reputation against them, so I'm going to give it to Bushmaster. Also, they're one of the very few firearm manufacturers, well, not the very few, but they're always the one that you see in the news media outlets. It's like, oh, it's a Bushmaster, just ban Bushmaster, and then what happens? They come up with Wind and Weaponry. It's ridiculous. Moving on, Anderson, the old poverty pony. Freaking, it says it right there. I'm going to give it a basic. I'm going to give it above or below a Bushmaster, above a Century. Simple fact that, again, as the name implies, it's a poverty pony. Bushmaster overall creates a better product. If you look at their completed AR versus the Andersons, I'm going to say the Bushmaster is a bit better, but Anderson definitely works. again, it's a basic. It's not the better than a rock category, but it good solid builds. Chiappa. So we all know about the Chiappa Rhino. Shot it. It's a weird looking thing. It's a gun only a mother could love, but they definitely have some weird things. I own their honey badger, or not honey badger. The little badger, like the little folding wire rifle. It's kind of unique. Overall, though, they're kind of a quirky manufacturer, and the fit and finish on the ones that I've used weren't really the best comparatively. So I'm gonna give them. It's kind of hard. I mean, they're basic now. The Caparano is obviously a bit more expensive, but again, from what in my opinion, they definitely don't have enough to outrank other manufacturers. So, are they gonna go above Stoeger or below Stoeger? You know, I'm just gonna place them above Stoeger because of the Rhino. Daniel Defense. So, obviously, this is gonna be top tier. Now, where in top tier? I'm gonna say they're fantastic ARs. You're definitely paying the premium for the price. I'm gonna give them above a Benelli because you can find a lot of Benellis out there. You know, I mean, you really can't find too many M4s, but you can definitely find Benellis in general out there. And for the price of what you're getting, I'm gonna say that they are, they're right there. Daniel Defense, good rifles. I have one of their, or used to have. Let me rephrase that. Used to know somebody who had and let me shoot their Daniel Defense in the mud color, like the burnt bronze-esque. It's not the burnt bronze, but it's like darker than that. And good solid AR, definitely no wiggle room, anything like that. But yeah, I'm gonna place them right there. Ruger, I'm placing up here. Yeah, I know, kind of controversial, right? Above Daniel Defense and above Barrett. In my opinion, though, Ruger does a lot right in their lineup. There hasn't really been a Ruger gun that I have not owned, shot, or have seen or wanted to get that was bad in any way, shape, or form. Now, obviously, some are better than others, but their AR-556, fantastic AR, brought to the masses. Their American line, very good rifles for a very affordable price. You get their Precision line, very good rifles as well. And I just generally love anything Ruger. Kind of a Ruger fanboy. Like, if it has Ruger, I know I can trust it. And that's just me personally. So they get preferential treatment and get bumped up this list a little bit. Not as much as my Arsenal or my HKs, but definitely up there. Fabrique Nationale Herstal, FN. So, FN, I have my FN S9. I've done a review on that here on the channel. Definitely a good manufacturer. Some of the best barrels that I've ever used. Not better than HK, but HK and FN, two favorite barrel manufacturers personally. Shot the FS 2000, very innovative designs. Now, they are hard to find. They're definitely not one of like the common manufacturers out there. So I'm going to give them top tier under Ruger, simply for the fact of their lineup, but their PS 2000, and of course, we got to forget the tactical UGG boot, the Scar. But I'm going to give them solid ranking there for a bit of preferential. Also, they're pretty innovative, and their quality is top-notch. I've never had a bad FN. Henry, kind of a bit of a wild card here. Henry is, manufactured. They make lever action rifles. They're gorgeous. Their fit and finish is fantastic. They're old school American, but they don't have much in their lineup. But for the craftsmanship that goes into them, I'm going to give them upgraded basic, because you can get like a Raw C Brazilian made lever action revolver. Nothing wrong with that. Perfectly fine. That's more of a basic, to where the Henry has a bit more of the fit and finish, and then the brass, and a bit more of something you can pass down. So I'm going to give them solid upgraded basic. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give them low-end upgraded basic because of their product lineup, but definitely an upgraded basic. Moving right along, Marlin. Marlin, I'm going to give, so kind of keeping Henry and Marlin out of there, but they are a big manufacturer, and I want to be all-encompassing here, no guns left behind. So lever actions have a place too. Marlin, as of in the very early years, fantastic. Kind of their mid-transitional period when they got bought out by, I think it was like Vista Outdoors. Kind of shite, for lack of a better word. Now they've kind of made a resurgence. I've shot the 1895, the Big Loop, the Jurassic Park T-Rex killer rifle. So definitely have come a bit of ways, but being that's lever action, I'm gonna give it an up. Scratch that. I'm gonna give it a solid basic. It is not above Palmetto for any other reason than it's competing directly with Henry. So if you want to blank those two out, you can blank those two out of your memory. Mauser, Trilog action, shot it all. I actually don't have any Mauser rifles like made by Mauser, but I have shot them. But I have a bunch of rifles who are based on the Mauser action, and the ones that I have shot, they definitely have a old school, cool, old world craftsmanship to them. And for that, I'm going to give them a right above Henry. Now, if you were looking at, as far as overall all the rifles that they have inspired, they would definitely go to a top tier because what's the old saying that goes is mimicking is the sincerest form of flattery. So if everyone is using their type of action, then they must be doing something right. Am I right? With that said, yeah, they're definitely not, in my opinion, warranted enough with their product line currently to kind of move their way up the list. DPMS mainly make their ARs. They're definitely in this basic class AR, and you can kind of see how this is breaking out, guys, at least in my opinion, of how I kind of work things. I'm going to say that based on their QC issues, but they're kind of pretty okay, I'm going to give them above Anderson, but below Bushmaster. Canik, better than a rock. I know I'm going to catch some flack for that one because Canik, they do make some interesting guns, but again, I'm kind of going back to the whole, I do not support their company. Also, their product lineup, it all kind of looks the same to me. I don't really see too much that would really draw me to them. Kind of like I feel the same way about them that I do about Springfield Armory, and that's just me. So, Canik, if you like them, great. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why they should be higher. But in my opinion, yeah, they're going better than a rock. SCCY Firearms, giving them top tier, better than a rock. Good guns for what they are. They're cheap. They work. They're effective. People have said great things about them. They're good concealed carry, but they don't have a very extensive lineup. But that's kind of a good thing. You really don't have to. The main choice you have with SCCY pistols is what color would you like it in. So I'm gonna give them better than a rock. Definitely don't do anything kind of crazy. I actually own quite a few of these little SCCY pistols just in black because they're good little to have around guns, I guess you would say. They're cheap and you can kind of put them in nooks and crannies. So I'll leave that at that. Steyr. Yes, they do make other things than the AUG, but we only care about the AUG. So with that, their fit and finish is very well, but they are kind of hard to get. So I'm gonna give them right in line with Mauser, kind of for the same reason, to where they're not really too innovative anymore, but they are still around. So it's gonna leave them right there. Geissele. So Geissele is definitely going to be a top tier. I'm going to give it a lower end top tier for the fact that they are expensive ARs, and I'm mainly going to talk on their their parts are fantastic, but the Super Duty rifles. Been eyeing up one of those. I've shot them. They are nice guns. They are pretty much just you take Geissele's entire product catalog, throw it into a single bundle, and there you go. They are in stock kind of regularly. Your specific model that you're looking at may not be, but they definitely have some that are in there. And for the price, I'm gonna say that they're a solid top tier. Kahr Arms. Kahr Arms, I'm going to put in line kind of with Kel-Tec. I'm gonna give Kel-Tec the edge over this one, just for the fact that Kahr Arms does make the Thompson. This is a pretty hard one, guys. So Kel-Tec, they make, they're very unique things. Because they have a bit more metal manufacturing and kind of have a bit better designs that I would prefer. I'm going to rank them just above Kel-Tec, just because Kahr Arms, they do have like their CM9, their CP9. They do make the Thompson now, which is auto ordnance, but it's still under Kahr Arms. So I'm going to give them just that little bit of edge. For that one particular thing, again, I'm hitting on the Thompson here. But the Thompson is kind of an outlier for a vast majority of their products. I'm going to say that they're solid basics, good everyday working man's gun. Bear Creek, I'm giving better than a rock. I've never had any kind of good luck with Bear Creek rifles. I got rid of every single one I've ever tried, and I've never really heard any good things about them other than it's better to have something some of the time than nothing none of the time. So Bear Creek, just gonna put right there, their QC seems iffy at best, and yeah, I mean they're a cheap AR, but for the price you're paying for Bear Creek, you might as well go get an Anderson or a Bushmaster or a Ruger, which isn't too far off price wise. So gonna put Bear Creek down there. Smith & Wesson, Smith & Wesson. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Smith & Wesson. Again, I'm not really a big fan of too many American gun manufacturers. But definitely Smith & Wesson has a good run, a good standing history. They definitely have a pretty good lineup. But, I'm going to give them below Palmetto. I think Palmetto has a bit more to offer than Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson has definitely kind of gone down in quality, just in my opinion, over the years. They seem to kind of be hinting on, certain niche kind of guns, or guns that were just kind of a main hit, like the Shield. Good gun, not a problem with it, but I prefer Palmetto State's company better than Smith & Wesson's. That's just me. I know I'm going to catch some flack for that one. Pietro Beretta. So, Beretta, good Italian gun manufacturer. Had my M9A3. Fantastic gun. Definitely has a good standing history. Overall, though, good fit and finish, good price. Definitely better than some guns out there. So, I'm going to give them an upgraded basic because they are kind of hard to get at times because of the runs. And it's going to be between Walther and them. Thinking between them, I'm going to have to give, the Walther the edge just because I like my P99 better than an M9A3. Sue me. High Point. High Point. Better than a rock. But above Bear Creek, but below Sky. High Point, again, good gun. If you need to get a gun, and somebody brought it up to me best that High Point is the working man's gun for those people that should have a right to self-defense, and cost should not be a limiting factor for that. Thought that was a fantastic sentiment, good idea. But for me, like their lineup, I just don't like them. I get where they're coming from. I would, again, for that sentiment, I would give them higher on the list, but I would take a Sky pistol over a High Point pistol. That's just me. Although High Points, you really can't seem to kill them, though, so that goes to show you. Uberti, which I might be saying that wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, down in the comments. But Uberti, very kind of broad brush catalog with their cowboy action revolvers and things along those lines. So Uberti, I'm going to say that based on their product lineup, that they're going to be above a Marlin. And I'm only saying that because they have a larger product lineup, and they really haven't had too many bad encounters, at least in my opinion. I have a couple of their single-action Army case-hardened revolvers. I'll do some reviews on those, but definitely have never really run bad in my book. Zastava Arms. So Zastava, they obviously make the ZPAP M70, and they also make the CZ999, which love that pistol. And they really haven't turned a bad product from what I've seen. Now, the importers have screwed them over a few times, but now that they're bringing their own stuff in the country, I'd say that they are, in regards to, I'm going to say from their product lineup, I'm going to give them, yeah, solid upgraded basic. Above a black range just because I prefer my AKs. Again, sorry. but definitely BCM takes the cake with them because of their product lineup. So Zastava, I'm gonna stick them right there. Remington. Obviously, Remington is a no more, but I'm going to speak of the Remington rifles of old, or at least before they started kind of going downhill. I'm going to say that they're a basic. I'm going to kind of I'm going to put the Savage above them, and that's just That's just going to be that. Savage is better than a Remington, in my opinion. I have my Remington 700, and I love the gun. Not a problem. It's the maritime finish, good gun, but with their product lineup, they only really have the Remington 700, and Savages seem to kind of take in the lead. So I'm gonna leave that one there. Winchester, I'm gonna put them right in line with that. Winchester, Winchester doesn't actually make their own guns anymore. Actually for that, I'm bumping them down a bit. Just kind of after I said it, they're not making they do make very limited runs, but then they mainly export it to a Japanese manufacturer. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but Winchester as a company, they're pretty much just their ammunition now. At least from what I see, they're not really making guns anymore. So I'm gonna bump them down there. Glock, perfection. Definitely an everyman's gun. Given their product lineup and how kind of ubiquitous they are definitely a basic because they are plenty available. You can find them everywhere. They're good guns, but they're really not doing anything too crazy about it. They also don't really have a rifle, but I'm going to give them a high-end basic. Not upgraded basic, but you guys know what I mean. IWI. I'm going to say IWI is top tier, and I'm going to keep them right below FN. I love, love, love my Tavor. The Tavor is very nice. They also make the Jericho. They also make the Galil, too. And after kind of saying that, because I own the Galil, I own the Tavor, I'm going to actually bump them above FN. Only reason I'm going to say that is Tavor, good company, Israel-made weapons. They obviously know what they're doing. They've been, fighting for a good while now. And mainly for the Tavor, I'm going to bump them up. Also, they're beyond being made over there, they're also made in somewhere in the United States. So I'm gonna give them that just that little tiny bit of an edge, mainly for the Tavor. Taurus, definitely a basic. Definitely a basic. I'm gonna kind of keep them in that same realm of the Bushmasters. My Taurus M605, very good revolver. I have my 1911 by them, very good as well. I'm gonna give it actually above a Remington because they are nicely fit and finished, and they do a lot right. I know they kind of get a little bit of flack. Taurus is kind of a weird one. Taurus feels weird in my heart. They're moving up the list pretty quick. They're charging like a bull here. Sorry guys. I'm just thinking of their lineup of everything they have. Yeah, I know they're clones, but they're very nice clones, like of some of their like their Beretta 92s. Yeah, I'm gonna say they're right there. The Thompson saved Kahr. that's all I'm gonna say. LWRC, top tier, obviously. But where in top tier? Huh. This is kind of a hard one. They're very nice. And they're expensive, but they are. Yeah, I'm gonna give them. I like LWRC as a company. I like their rifles and their piston-driven systems. I think they bring a bit more to the table than Daniel Defense, in my opinion. But definitely doesn't have enough in their product lineup because an AR just can't save you. A very nice AR can get you close, but it can't save you on my list. CZ. CZ general lineup with their Scorpion and with their Omega pistols and crap. I have plenty of CZs. Love them, like them. Some people hate them. Ooh, this. Yep. There goes the dislikes. Yep, I'm ranking the CZ above SIGs. I think generally overall, comparatively with their product lineup, at least for me personally, I would take a CZ Scorpion over a MCX Rattler or Rattlesnake or whatever the hell it is. Panzer Arms. I despise their shotguns, but they are better than a Bear Creek. They're kind of flooding the market right now with their shotguns that they have, as far as like 12 gauge semi-autos, and I just think they're ugly as sin. Don't really like them. Can kind of see their purpose. I take a high point before I take a Panzer. That's just me, just because general aesthetics. Mossberg shotguns, very good quality. They really don't do any pistols. They did have a pistol, shot it, kind of a weird little thing. Definitely didn't hit any marks, but they're a good everyman shotgun. The product lineup for Smith & Wesson is what saved it. The M&P Sport saved the Smith & Wesson right now. Definitely a bit better, in my opinion, than Kahr as far as their machining marks, but I'm going to give Mossberg just a little bit of edge. Rock Island Armory. Pretty easy one. I'm going to give Kahr. The Thompson is saving your life tonight. Rock Island, good pistols. Definitely more of a budget end, but have a bit of a better actually, I'm gonna bump it down. I think Taurus has a bit better quality in certain areas than Rock Island, and Taurus, they keep more in stock, so that's where that's going. Browning, if you want to talk about their older model pistols, like their high powers, very good guns. I'm going to give them bottom basic. They're their Buckmark 22, fantastic gun, definitely nicely machined. I've never noticed a bad machining job on anything Browning. Definitely have a bit of a history behind them, and pretty solid company. So I'm gonna give them upgraded basic just for that. Kalashnikov USA. Whew. Well, this one is kind of a weird one, I'm feeling. This one I really don't know where to put. I'm going to put this as a... Yep, I'm going to leave that right there. For the simple fact that, yeah, you have the KP9, good little rifle, but you have the shotgun, but doesn't really have enough to say. Actually, you know what? I'll take a Zastava over Kalashnikov. Kalashnikov USA. Kalashnikov USA is obviously nice to get the name Kalashnikov, but from their product lineup and their general history at the moment, now this probably will change, but once they bring out a full-size AK rifle, which I actually think they've announced it, but they actually haven't brought it out yet, so we'll see about that. But I'm going to give them solid upgraded basic. And finally, COLT. The main one that kind of started it all, right? Because God made man, but Colt made him equal. Colt. So apparently, I've heard that they've got bought out by CZ. I hope that's kind of the case, because I'd love to see Colt made CZs, but that are making Colts. I just think that would be kind of nice, because kind of Colt at the moment hasn't really produced too much of innovation. They definitely have pretty good quality. But if I have to take a Colt, yeah, I'm going to take a Browning over a Colt, because they're an upgraded basic. They're definitely not too much of an unobtainium. So with that, guys, it's kind of my general list. Now, if I was to remove the fact that have a bit of a bias for HKs, or they're kind of bringing them in, some of these definitely could fit in the unobtainium Gucci operator builds. Yes, of course, if you're talking about just the one particular rifle, it's an unobtainium for an HK516, or an LWRC in your particular region. But at least for me personally, this is kind of where I would say, if you're talking about general companies and their lineup and everything they have to offer, and what I've seen and what I've used with them, this is the list that I would hold true. And that's just me personally. So let me know what you guys think. I know this was a heck of a long video, but if you stayed along for this long of a ride, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. Crap, if you stayed this long, you probably have subscribed, so thank you for that. And yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And with that, I hope everyone's having a wonderful, awesome, fantastic day. I'll catch you guys next time.